Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living More with the Morgans. My name is Landa Jeray Morgan. This is my beautiful wife.
I'm Rotunda
And
Morgan.
again, you're tuned in to Living
Living
More
more
with
with
the
the
Morgans.
Morgans.
It's been a minute since we've done that together, though.
Yes,
That
that
felt good.
sounds
It
good.
always
It
feels good,
feels
though. It
good.
always feels like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Like it's new. But
Yes.
thank you guys so much for tuning
Thank
in to Living
you.
More with the Morgans.
Yes.
Now, last week we couldn't get on because of technical difficulties dealing with Facebook. And I know we were supposed to be on tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, you guys. But I do apologize that we're late because we have a prior meeting before we get online. That's very important to us.
Yes.
Some spiritual things we got to take care
Yes.
of.
Yes.
And so we always do that on the first Tuesday of the month. So what we're going to start doing, you
Yeah.
guys, so that we can always be on time, always give you guys excellence, is we're going to start pre-recording the show for the first Tuesday of the month only. Just the
Right.
first Tuesday of the month, we're going to pre-record the show in advance and then air it at 8 o'clock. So that way, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, some people are staying up late in other parts of the world just to tune in. And we don't want to be late like we are tonight. Like I said, because every Tuesday night, the first Tuesday night of the month,
Right.
we have a very important meeting that we attend to with other people. And so, but we still want to come on the air and still bring you guys the quality content. So what we're going to do is we just want to do a check-in. Everybody just check in and let us know that you can hear us. Everything is coming
Yes.
across okay with the audio and the visuals. We just want to make sure that you can see us, that you can hear us, that we're coming across clearly. So if we are, hit them comments and just let us know. Right now, we're on several different channels, right?
Yes, we are.
And we all over the place, you guys. I
Everywhere.
mean, right now, you're probably watching us on our Facebook channel. And so you can find us on facebook.com/Living More Morgans. Right now, we're also tuned in live on Twitter. Yes, people tune in on Twitter.
Yes.
Hey, the Twitter's your thing. With Elon Musk buying Twitter, you better go over there and be watching Living More with the Morgans
Right.
now. We're on twitter.com/Live More Morgans.
Right.
And then, of course, you can follow us and like our content on Instagram, instagram.com/Living More Morgans. And then, of course, we definitely want to see you on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And if you are on YouTube, we want to see you. You can subscribe to our page right now. Go to
Yes.
right now.
Right now.
Go to YouTube, type in Living More Morgans, youtube.com/Living More Morgans. And that way you can always get our content. You're the first one. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon.
Yes.
So every time that we do come on, we might come on with a cool little short film. We might
Yes.
just come on just to, talk some noise and she be flirting with me. So, we might put that on camera.
We're married,
Yeah, we
so
married. We can do that. So we might have some exclusive content on YouTube channel. So
Right.
we want you to hit that bell icon and get notifications from us when we go live or when we post new content on our YouTube channel. All right. And so, again, let us know. We just want to do a check on our social media pages. And if you tuned in and you dig what we're bringing you, go ahead and share it, right?
Please
share this
share.
on your wall because
Share
it's
with
good
your friends,
content.
your
Share
family,
with your friends.
other married couples, yes.
Married couples, those who right now who struggling with their
Yes,
marriage, going through
yes.
divorce, going through whatever they going through, invite them. Shoot this to their page.
Right.
Let them know, hey, we got some good content, some wholesome content. Because right
Right.
now, we definitely need it in the world. Right now, we in election time right now, and we already know how that goes in America, where everybody's kind of,
Yeah.
it's
who
tense.
I vote for who.
Yeah, who's
yeah.
voting for who's
Right.
gonna do what, and
Yeah.
ain't nobody gonna do nothing. And so everybody's tense and trying to figure out what the
Right.
government is gonna do and what government officials gonna do. So
Right.
right now, let's ease some of that tension and let's go ahead and watch something that's wholesome, right?
Right.
And so that's what we're bringing, Living More with the Morgans. And if you haven't tuned into us before, we have all of our videos on archive on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and catch up. Again, subscribe and you can catch up to everything that we've been doing up to this point for the past
Right.
couple of months. We're brand new, you guys. We're still building. We're still growing. And as you can see, if you're looking behind us, we had to add some sauce to it. A little bit. Can we show that? Can we move out the way? All right. So we had to add a little bit of sauce to it. You know what I'm saying? So we're getting better, you guys. And that's the thing, is that we're taking the little that we have and we're going to do much with it.
Yes.
And we're going to let God bless it and let him breathe on it. And he's going to do the increase. and we just going to sit back and enjoy what it is that he's doing. So again, if you're tuning in for the first time, thank you. For those who have been watching us from day one, thank you so much for tuning in.
So
again,
much.
Share it on your wall.
Please share.
Let people know that there's some wholesome, there's some good content.
Right.
We're going to trip out, we're going to laugh, we're going to have fun.
Yes.
We're going to get serious. We're going to talk about all the important stuff.
Yes.
We're going to do that. But we like to have fun, and we just like to, just be relaxed and chill, y'all, because there's enough bad juju out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough of that. There's a lot of mess going on. Right. I mean, and I'll be honest, honey, I woke up this morning, first day of November, and I couldn't even get on my phone good, and I'm already seeing headline news of, a world-renowned rapper killed right here in the state of Texas. Right. Houston, Texas, 4 hours south of us. We're here in Dallas. And so when you wake up to something like that, I mean, that can put a whole slew of emotions in you, right? And so rest in peace to that young man, of course, and to our condolences to his family. And one of the things, like I said, is that we don't want to inundate ourselves with just a whole bunch of negative information and a lot of negative things that are going on in the world. We want to be sensitive to it.
That's right.
We want to be empathetic to it. But at the same time, we don't want to let things that are going on in the world bog us down and stop us from living more.
From living, yes.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yes,
so you guys, we're going to dig into today's show. And tonight's show is called The Pleasure Principle. Business in the bedroom. Now, don't block us, Facebook.
Don't block us.
don't block us.
Right.
Don't shut us off. We
Absolutely.
ain't finna show no nudity and no behind or nothing. Don't cut us off, Facebook. Y'all ruthless, man. Good grief. But what we're doing tonight is we're talking about the pleasure principle, business in the bedroom.
Right.
What does that mean when you talk about the pleasure principle, business in the bedroom? Now, y'all freaky minds, y'all would be like my wife here, when I came up with the title, it's like, oh, we talking about business in the bedroom. So y'all with the minds, y'all know what y'all do. Yeah.
I didn't think that.
Yeah. But no, we're gonna talk about what it means to bring the outside world, the outside cares of the world, the outside burdens of the world into the bedroom.
Right.
You bring in other people's business, even your own business. You bring in that business into the bedroom. Now, if you ain't married, you probably ain't got a clue of what I'm talking about. Right. But if you're married and you have been for a while, even for a little bit, you've probably experienced some of the things that we're going to discuss tonight. Yeah. Now, why do we need to discuss it? Because I often find, and I'm including myself, I often find that sometimes we don't know how to cut off and separate the things that go on the outside.
That's right.
And we bring that into our home. We bring that into our marriage. We bring that into our time with family. And I'm going to really dig into that as a young man. Okay. You being an older woman, me being a younger man, I can attest to that, for sure, because I know, especially when early in our marriage, I would bring home that baggage.
Yes.
From out here trying to do business or out here when I was working or whatever, I would bring that home, and that would taint some of the things that were going on in our household. For me, unknowingly. Right. I didn't really get it. So we're going to dig into that, you guys. But again, if you're online, shout us out. Let us know that you're in the comments. Our very own spiritual father, Apostle Sean Anike, is in the building. He says he hears us loud and clear. Papa, if you're still on, thank you so much for tuning in. Yes. And thank you for what you brought tonight. Yes. It was worth being late.
It was.
It was worth being late.
And thank you for just a lot of spiritual, people say, oh, my spiritual father and mother do this, that, and the other. But I really wanted to say, Apostle Sean Anike, thank you for being such a wonderful father.
Yes.
Such a wonderful father who is not only to Landa and I, but to all your spiritual sons and daughters, that we can count on you. You push us. You love us. You're there for us. You're supportive. You and Prophetess Mommy, we thank God for that. And we just wanted to give you your flowers, you and Mommy. Wow, you can smell them and tell you how much we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And how much we love you.
Absolutely. And shout out to our spiritual mom, Prophetess Beverly
Yes.
Nige. She has touched down in Cameroon,
Yay.
Africa, y'all. Her first time in Africa. She's doing it big
So
out
proud.
there. I mean, I know that continent is finna be changed like
Oh,
forever.
my goodness.
As soon as that 5'2" woman,
5'2".
is she 5'2"?
She 5'2".
5'2" and them 10-inch heels. I know as soon as them joints hit that continent, I
Yes.
know that Cameroon
Yes.
and that continent of Africa is not going to be the same. So shout out to her.
Shout out to you, Mommy. We
And
love you.
we love
We're
you.
Proud
Have
of you.
a great time.
Yes.
Go out there and do it big.
Do
Go
what God
represent
has
God's
given you.
people. Go out there
Yes.
and bring. You already know how to bring. We ain't
Yeah,
got to tell her how to
bring it.
bring it. She just finna bring it.
She a fireball, period.
Already in them 10-inch heels, she
Right.
finna bring it out there. So y'all better be ready out there in Cameroon because
Yes.
we coming, y'all. We
Yes.
coming with it. And so, again, we want to talk about the pleasure principle,
Yeah.
business in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And again, I think one of the things for me early on in our relationship that was so hard for me to separate
Right.
because I allowed the fact that I needed to bring in income as a man, as a provider, as a protector. My whole thing was, yo, I got to get on it. And especially in our culture, as African Americans, we're like, yo, we got to get on this grind, which is not good.
No.
And let me dispel this real quick, right? We can do this on this show. One of the things that we do in our culture, Black people, is we glorify some of the things that are totally wrong. And we speak things that we don't even understand that we're speaking, and we're speaking things to our detriment a lot of times. So when even in our African American, in our slang, in our culture, we tend to say words like, yo, I'm on my grind, I'm on my hustle, I'm out here grinding.
Right.
Think about that though. Think about the words that you're saying, right? And a lot of us as African Americans, we believers, or we grew up in places, we grew up in church, or we grew up understanding the things of God. And so when we say certain words and we speak certain words, we're probably keeping ourselves subjected to things that are beneath us that we shouldn't even be in.
We are.
Our words are keeping us stuck.
Words.
And so when we saying, yo, I'm on my grind, think about that, right? Grind, today's word for grind is an African-American colloquialism, right? It's a slang term for going at it, for trying to go out there and get it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But that is the equivalent to the word toil
Right.
in scripture.
Right. Just like the word hustle.
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 I'm hustling. And see, we celebrate that in our
Right.
culture.
You
We
remember that song they were saying every day?
Every damn Rick Ross, right?
Rick Ross.
We celebrate it in our culture because, and that's what we've known. We've been taught that's been passed down to us from older generations.
Right.
I'm on my grind. I'm on my hustle. I'm out here trying to get it. Da, 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 da.
Right.
And we're saying things that are keeping us snared, and we don't even
good.
realize it.
That's right.
And so again, toil is the equivalent to today's grind.
That's
And
right.
God never called us to toil. Yes, work. Work is all throughout Scripture, right?
Right.
Work is what a man's supposed to do. Adam was supposed to work, till the garden, work.
Right.
You dig?
Right.
But never to grind, never to, oh, I'm on my hustle. I'm out here hustling. No, find purpose.
There you go.
Because when you find purpose, you're not grinding for purpose. You're not
No.
hustling for your purpose,
No.
right? Your purpose will pay you 10 times more than any hustle will.
Right.
And so you're toiling away your time, you're grinding away your time to go after some money, when all you got to do is find who you are, find what your purpose is, and when you get in that, you can quit the grinding
Right.
and you can quit the hustle
Right.
and the hustling. And again, we celebrate it through our songs. Every day I'm hustling, and it sounds good. Don't get me wrong. We jamming and we bobbing and we doing our thing with it. But sometimes we gotta stop and really listen to the words that are feeding us, feeding our souls, and that we're taking in. And then it becomes a part of our vocabulary, and then it becomes a part of our lifestyle and our culture. And the next thing you know, you are ensnared by the words that you speak.
Right.
And so we got to be mindful of that, fam. I just wanted to throw that little nugget
good.
in there.
I love that, and it's absolutely true. We have to be mindful of what comes out of our mouth. But even the Bible says that life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
And what you feel, your emotions, what you see that what word I want to use that shapes, okay, shapes your mind, is what you'll speak. Okay, so we have to be careful what we say and get in environments and get around people that will elevate us and motivate us and encourage us.
Right.
And when you get in that environment, you get in that kind of soil, you grow.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Think about it, and that's an exceptional point. Is that you think about when you plant? If you go out here and you're a gardener and you plant plants,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You plant plants in a way where you give them space to grow, to find their own roots.
Right.
Because if they're too close to another's roots, they'll
Right.
become entangled and they'll snare
Right.
one another.
That's right.
They'll choke one another. Right? You wouldn't plant a beautiful garden with intentional thorns.
No, you would not.
You till the soil, and anything that would choke the plant from getting its nutrients, you would till that soil and you would pick out the rocks or any kind of obstacles or whatever, the thorns or whatever that get in the way for that plant to flourish.
Right.
So you got to think about yourself and your destiny and your purpose the same way. Where if you got people around you and you've got thought processes and mentalities and folk around you that are choking you from digging your roots in deep so that you can blossom and flourish.
Right.
And that's what's happened to a lot of people. So when you got people around you like, yo, we got to get on our grind, we got to get on a hustle, and you're the only one talking about purpose and destiny, then guess what? Because they're the majority, most likely, they're going to choke your roots. They're going to choke what it is and the potential that you have in you. So you got to be careful that you planted by other plants that help you flourish. Because if not, if they got thorns attached to them, if they got anything that's choking them, most likely what's choking them is going to choke you.
That's good.
So we got to be mindful again of what we're saying, what we're putting out there, what we're declaring. And even the songs and the things that we're singing, you guys, we got to be careful of that. So I want to take to Facebook and our social media real quick. Right now we got Evangelist TC is on there. TC Baker is on my page watching us. Thank you so much, sis, for tuning in. Absolutely. Share this on your wall. Share this with your people. We're going to go in tonight, you guys. I know we started a little bit late. That ain't our fault. We had to get it in tonight. We had to get it in.
Yeah.
So I ain't apologizing no more.
Right.
All right, and then my man Apostle Timber King, Timber King, all the way, I believe he's in Washington State right now, but all the way from Kenya, Africa. We met this brother about 4 years ago. Exceptional man of God, and he was also rocking the lingerie. Equality is the new black. He was rocking that joint. He was looking good.
Thank you, sir.
Now come on, now hold up. I gotta say this.
And Apostle cool like you
he
too.
Cool.
Because he wears shades.
He wears shades. He got his hat on backwards. I mean, he cool with it. He cool. But hold up. How about he got more love and more likes when I posted the picture on my story than I get in my own clothes.
Okay. Well, hey.
No, I love it though. I love it though. And so shout out to Apostle Timber for tuning in all the way from Kenya, Africa. We love you. Our regards to your wife and the daughters.
Family,
absolutely. Yes. And so you guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. Share this on your wall. Share it with your people. And we out the box, y'all. I mean, we got people. And this is no slight to them. We got people doing Bible study.
Right.
We got plenty of people sitting behind the camera on Facebook doing Bible study. Nothing wrong with that. That's cool. But there's some things that we got to really dig into. Right. When it comes to our marriages, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to living more.
Even we talk about kingdom, even in the kingdom, we have to be able to talk about the things that are setting us back, so that we can go forward in the things that God has for us to do, especially as couples, where God pairs us and put us together.
Right.
He put us together for purpose. Even in your singleness, he put you here for purpose. So we have to be able to be also able to balance it out so that we can talk about those things so that you can be able to find yourself and know who you are in God and know what your purpose is and be able to address the issues and the things that are heavy up on you so that you can live freely.
Absolutely.
This is what living more is about.
Absolutely. And and we're going to get on that topic. We're going to get on pleasure principle, you guys. We're going to get there.
Because this is going to be good.
This is going to be good. But I think, again, something is pushing us to say this because we tend to ignore the elephants that are in the room. You know,
Yes.
we tend to ignore the obvious in the room, especially as believers, especially as Christians. And for whatever reason, we don't want to touch that.
Right.
One of the things that I know I grew up hearing, particularly here in America, is that there's two things you don't talk about. You don't talk about politics and you don't talk about religion. And those are the very things that are killing us.
Right.
The very things that we're not talking about.
Right.
And the things that we're sweeping under the rug and the things that we don't want to have the hard, thorough discussions about are the very things that are killing us.
Right.
And so when we're not talking about religion and when we're not talking about politics, those things are the things that are separating us. Think about it. Sunday morning, you got a church across the street from another church in the same building, in the same storefront as another church, and ain't none of them worshiping with one another.
Right.
Why are we not talking about that?
Right.
We say we all confess, Jesus as Lord. We read from the same Bible, but we can't worship together. So because you New International and they are the New Kojic and they the New Baptists over here, and no, we the traditional ones over here. We old Kojic, and we've got all this separation. And then on the other side of that is politics. And the Democrats are over here, and the Republicans are over here, and the Independents are down here, and we don't mess with the left wing and the right wing and the conservatives and the liberals. I mean, we've got nicknames and we've got tribes within this country, within religion and within politics that we're not discussing, and those are the things that are separating us.
I agree.
And I don't care how much Bible you got. I don't care how much seminary you got. I don't care how much Holy Ghost you got. If those are the things that are separating us and that are dividing us and that are not giving us unity, particularly in the body, then how are we ever going to flourish? How are we ever going to grow? We need each other. It's not predicated on if you are a Republican or not, or if you're a Democrat or not, or if you watch Fox News or if you watch CNN. I need you. And what it boils down to is that you need me as well. We need each other. We need to lock arms with each other. That's just how God made it.
That's how you designed
That's how God designed it, was that we need one another. And so when we're not talking about the elephants in the room and we're sweeping them under the rug, guess what? Another generation has to come and deal with it. Another generation.
And even on a more stronger level.
Exactly.
Because just, the next level, okay, they have to deal with it, but it's going to be a lot worse, okay, for their generation. And we this is what we're saying. We want to destroy and kill anything and everything that is keeping us as people of God from going forward, from living with joy and peace, living in abundance. This is what we came here to do. Why? Like Landa said earlier, this show is not just for you all; it's for us too.
Right.
Because we are saying we want to live more, and we're saying we want you to live more. So how are we going to do that? We have to be examples of what we're saying. Right. So this is why we're here. This is why the topic is tonight, is to talk about what we're talking about. Separating, what's going on at work and what's going on in the world and what's going on with politics and all of that, and stop bringing it into your home. You had a bad day at work. It's okay to talk to your spouse about it, but don't allow your spouse to be a victim of what happened to you at work or what happened to you with someone outside of your home. Your home should be a safe haven. Your home should be a place of love, of peace, a place of refuge, a place you can come and lay your head and say, I'm here. I feel comfort. I feel peace. The weight of the world is off of my shoulders because I am home.
Right.
My husband is home. My wife is home. My children are here.
Right.
This is what we're talking about that we in the body don't want to talk about. Again, nothing wrong. We're in ministry. We're not saying not to do that. But don't you want your life to be better? Do you always want you and your husband to have issues? Do we not want to address the issues? Like Landa said, like my husband said, the elephant in the room. I just want to piggyback off of what you said because I really want to dive into this. Yes. You're right. When my husband used to come home, he used to work at a company, and I won't name it, it was a ministry, that he was so vexed and so stressed out and so irritated and angry about it. Now, this is when we first got married, newly married, okay? Yeah. We weren't 2 years in. And he would begin to bring the things that would happen there home. And I'm like, okay, honey, don't bring that here. If you want to talk about it, okay. But when you begin to use what has happened to you and make the person that is with you in your life have to deal with it and they become the victim of what happened out there, right, then you're wrong. Right. And you're not looking and realizing, and I'm going to use this word, that when the enemy wants to do that. He wants to do what? Destroy our families, right, destroy our marriages, especially when he knows that there is purpose that God put us here for. Right. I didn't come here to preach, but it's in me. But especially that. And so we don't understand and realize the devices that he uses, right, to be able to try to destroy us because we are allowing what's going on in the world and what people are doing and not doing and trying to keep up with the Jones and the Smiths and who got the bigger BMW, who got the bigger house, okay, who in a nicer apartment, a nicer area. It doesn't matter. Right. What matter is what God wants for you and your spouse and your home to have and to be, which is his presence, yes, and his blessing. So we want to make sure that we talk about those things because when we begin to do that and bring the cares of the world in, I'm going to say this, intimacy becomes far and few in between. Right. It dwindles. It dwindles. Nobody wants to be intimate with somebody who comes home every day and they kicking the dog. The cat done got slung like a slingshot across the over the fence. Right. You know, and the kids running from daddy coming home. Here's dad. Here he comes. Oh, it's daddy. Let's go in our room and close the door. And I'm glad you touched on that because I want to touch on that. Right. And I can remember being a kid and my dad was a thinker. God rest his soul. My dad was a thinker, and he was very analytical, and he was an introvert. Right. 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 He was an artist. I take after him in many qualities. Yeah. And I can remember being a kid, and we could be all of us, my brothers and sisters. We've already done our homework. We're out of school, and we're sitting on the couch watching cartoons or watching TV or whatever. And I remember it like it was yesterday, we would listen for that garage door, the electric garage door to open up. And as soon as we heard that electric garage door open up and that car drive in, we knew, shut the TV off, go back into your rooms. Right, right. It wasn't even, oh, hey, Dad, how was your day? No. It wasn't, oh, let's run to Dad and give him a hug. It was none of that. No. It was Dad's home, dart to the rooms, because you know he had a jacked up day. Right. Right? Right. And so what Pop did is he brought home the cares of the world. He brought home what was going on at the job or what didn't go on at the job. He brought home doors that were shut in his face. Right. He brought home people that talked to him crazy. Right. He brought home how the boss maybe looked at him or fussed at him. Right. He brought all of that home to us. Right. And not only that, your father was in the military. And my father was a military man. Yes. So he's already got that
packed on top of things that he experienced in the military, in his childhood, in his upbringing, not having his father, not knowing, ever knowing his father. I've never met my grandfather or my grandparents on my dad's side of the family.
Right.
And so Dad brought that anger home into the house.
Right.
No matter if mom had dinner ready, because mom was a working mom.
Sure.
Right? She didn't work no 9 to 5. She was up 7 o'clock and wasn't coming home till 7, 8 o'clock at night, right? She was one of those kind of moms. So we didn't catch Dad in the good moods as kids. We rarely would see him in good mood. And when he came home, he was in a good mood. I mean, it was like the heavens opened.
Yes.
He was cool. He was fun to talk to. He joked. He laughed. When Dad was in a good mood and when money was in his pocket, Pops was a whole different. He was the coolest cat in the world.
And see, that's why I want to talk about this, is because my dad had those tendencies at times too, and I can really say this. It affected my mom and dad's marriage.
Right.
Because when my dad would come home, and now my dad worked 10-hour days, and again, 10-hour days, and you got cattle. You got 300 or 400 heads of cows that you got to make sure they still in fenced. You got to make sure that all the hay and feed and everything is done. And of course, me and my brother are going with him, and then mom is going too, over to, where the land where we had our cattle at.
Right.
So he would come home the same way, frustrated and all of that. And I began, as I got older, Landa, as I began to, in my first marriage, I said, I love my parents, okay? They were great parents, just like your parents.
Right.
But I did not want that type of life.
I didn't want what they had. Yeah.
Right, because why? Because I knew that wasn't healthy for a marriage. You don't want a marriage where, I hear people say all the time, well, how long you been married? Oh, I've been married 25, 30 years. A lot of people can say a number, and we go glorify it. Oh, they've been married 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. But what happened in those years?
Right.
Some people are just existing in their marriages.
Right. So there's not a real marriage there. There's not a real relationship.
It's not a real relationship.
It's just, we're on paper as husband and wife.
Right.
And we got to keep the facade going.
Right.
Right.
When literally, Landa, a lot of people are living like roommates. A lot of marriages are there because there have been issues and problems, things from the outside, things that have gone on in their lives that they have dealt with, whether it be abuse, whether it be your dad went to war, so friends and stuff be killed, beheaded, all these different things.
So my question is, why aren't, again, I go back to the elephant in the room, why are we not talking about the obvious issues in our families, in our marriages? Again, this tonight's episode is called the pleasure principle.
The pleasure principle.
Bringing business into the bedroom. And then when I talk about business, I'm not just talking about those who are entrepreneurs, whatever. I'm talking about you're bringing outside influence, outside cares. And one of the things, I'll say this, I know many times us as men, we go out there into the world and we get beat up, right? I don't care what race, culture that you are. You go out into the world, you're trying to make an income, you're trying to provide for your family, you're going out here and you're getting beat up and you're told that you're less than, or your resume doesn't do it for you, or you don't have this, or you don't have these credentials. You're told all these different things and you're told no more than you are yes. I get it. I've had it happen to me many times. And so what happens is, especially that when we're married, we bring that frustration, we bring that anger back home. And that contaminates the household. It contaminates the home that she's trying to create as peace. Now, here's the thing, though.
That's good.
She's trying to create peace where she can have it smelling good when you get here. She can have food cooked on the stove, all that, the bathroom's clean, whatever, slippers ready for you, whatever it is that your wife or your, that what she does for you. But if you come home angry, frustrated, depressed, you're going to taint the paradise that she has provided for you. you're going to diminish, and you don't even realize that you're doing it. My dad, I'm sure, didn't realize that he was doing it. Your dad didn't realize that he was doing it. He didn't realize that, oh, this was going to be embedded in my children's psyche for the rest of their lives. And they're going to have to deal with it and recognize it and cut it off so they don't continue what they saw dad and granddad and grandpop and so much doing. And the thing about it, I'm going to say this too, it ain't just the fellas.
No, it's not.
It ain't just men.
No,
It's some sisters now, especially nowadays, where women are very independent. They holding down jobs. They got business owners. I mean, they holding down. They're housewives, so they're holding down kids at the house and family affairs that are going on at the house. So it's not just the men. And so we have to be mindful of the business that we're bringing into the bedroom.
That's right.
That we're bringing into the household, because that toxicity is killing the marriages and is killing people. And again, those are the things we're not talking about. And y'all, this is not something that you're going to pray away.
No.
Prayer only is
This
not
is
going to do it.
action.
You got to put some action behind this.
Yes. And you have to be transparent. You have to, and this is something I want to say, and we've had this to deal with as well. Do not allow your spouse to communicate to you what she or he is feeling. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Do not allow or don't say, I don't want to hear that right now, or I don't want that person to talk and tell me what's going on, what the problem is. I know what the problem is.
Right.
Do not do that. Because once you begin to do that, guess what happens? You start to break the communication down so much until, guess what? There's no communication.
Right.
And that's your spouse, whether it be a man or it could be the woman, will begin to show you by not saying anything. It's dangerous as a woman. It's dangerous for a woman to not say a word to her husband anymore about situations and problems that she sees that she wants to work out. Now, again, you made a great point. Not every man does this. There's women as well.
Right.
But me being a woman, and we have gone through this, where, you know, there's times you didn't want to talk about it, issues and the things that were going on, even if it was you.
Right.
But I would come to you and say, what? We. Not you. We got a problem. We got an issue we need to talk about. Not to scold, not to, and women, you have to learn how to come to your husband.
Right.
You can't come to him saying, hey, bro, you doing this, that, and the other. I'm getting sick of it. You can't come in that attitude. You coming at him. You coming at the throat. No. You sit down, because you guys have become one. You sit down and you talk. You say, honey, let's talk. There's some things I want to talk about that would help us to make our marriage better.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. The hit on men is we're not the best communicators.
No.
Okay?
And that's the truth.
And that's the truth. We're not wired that way.
Right.
And I can tell you, and I can even prove it. You can even prove it in Scripture. Who does the enemy go to in the garden?
The man.
No, he didn't go to the man.
The woman. Right. The woman.
You know the story.
Right.
He didn't go to the man.
Right.
He went to the woman.
Right.
Why? Because women are better communicators.
We're better communicators.
And not only better communicators, but better emotionally.
Right. Absolutely.
So the enemy knew I can play on them emotions. Because if that brother's not in the picture, if that man is nowhere to be around, I can get in her ear.
Right.
And saying, well, where that brother at?
Right. And you said the enemy, and I'm thinking God, because God put the responsibility
on the man.
And I'm sorry,
yeah, absolutely. He put the responsibility on Adam.
Right.
But Adam, for whatever reason, was preoccupied with something else.
Something else.
Ain't tending to his woman.
Right.
And guess who's in her ear?
You said that the perfect word, not tending to your wife or tending to the one you say you love.
Right.
Because that's the issue right there. When you begin to allow the cares of the world, or you when you just said men are not wired like that. When you become married, unwire yourself, okay?
Right.
I'm being honest.
Right.
Because guess what? You asked that woman to be your wife.
And it's no longer about you.
And it's no longer
It's not longer but just about you. Right.
Right.
And
it's
fellas,
about you guys.
and
both
fellas,
of you.
I had to learn that. So I'm not telling you something. We're not telling you something that we too haven't gone through and have
Right.
experienced. There's some things that we had to relearn.
Right.
Because everything that I learned from my dad and my pawpaw and them wasn't right.
Right.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
But we can't be so naive and I'm the man and this and this and this and I got it all figured out
Right.
and she gonna do it my way. No. When you get married and you say I do, and you take vows with one another, like you said, babe, there's some rewiring as a man that you're going to have to do in order to understand her and to be able to fulfill what she needs and how she needs it.
Right.
Every woman is different.
Right.
So there is a certain way that I had to rewire myself, and it takes time.
Right.
But here's the thing. You have to be willing to put in the time. That's what I was saying earlier. This is more than just, oh, we're going to pray it away.
No.
Or we're going to dance it and shout it and church it away.
Right.
No. You're going to have to be cognizant of what it is and what you bring to it
Right.
in order for you to fix it. And you're going to have to
right.
communicate that out.
That's right. And also, for the men that are men of faith, you can't do it in your own strength. This is for the men that are men of faith, okay? You have to go to your father and ask him to help you in that area. Right. You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to do it today. No. And then the next day or the next week, you're back to your old self. You have to do it in God's strength. That means in prayer and asking God to help you in those areas, right, so that you can be a better husband, a better father, a better man for yourself as Absolutely. Well. So this is for those who are men of faith. I'm just saying that. I'm not men that are not. Again, this is for the men that are men of faith. You have to have God in order to do that. So communication for women, and I'm here to stand in the gap for us as women, good women.
Right.
And women who love their husband and want their homes to be full of peace and happiness and joy and love and intimacy.
Right.
I'm saying for us, we have to get to a place where we communicate with our husbands in a way that he understands. How do you do that? By getting to know who your husband is. And men, start allowing yourself to let your guard down, so that your wife can know what you like and what you don't like, right, and know who you. We're not musicians. We don't know who you are. We don't know everything that you like. Magicians, excuse me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you are musicians.
Yeah. I'm married to one. Right. I guess I'm thinking about that.
Right.
But we are not that. So you have to be able to communicate, as well as women have to do it to the men, right, our husbands, so that they'll know, okay, this is how my wife, this is how she operates, this is how she feels, this is how she rocks. Okay, we have to be able to do that. The outside cares of the world and all of the things that are going on, even those that are in ministry, I want to touch on that.
Oh yeah. I tell you what.
Okay.
I want to touch on that fully.
Okay.
But as you know.
We got to pay them bills.
When the bill collectors start calling, we got to pay them bills, y'all.
Yes.
It's them boys and them bills. So we got to pay them bills, you guys.
He's a mess, guys.
But before we do, you guys, I want you to get on the page, share it. We got a couple minutes left. We're going to come back. We're going to take a break. We're not finished because we want to jump into that. Okay. Those who are in ministry, those who are in business, those who have busy lives.
Yes.
How are we going to fix this? Because you can't start living more until you start communicating more, until you start loving more. You're not going to live unless you love. And so we got to fix some things, you guys. And hopefully this topic is blessing you guys. Hopefully you're getting something from it. Yes. Again, while you're on your wall, share it with your people, share it in groups, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We want to hear from you. We want to be interactive, right? If you guys got ideas about different topics, different shows,
please share
bring them. Share them. Hit us up in the inbox. We talk to everybody.
Yes.
Right? So hit us up and let us know how we're doing, how you're liking the content, what we can do better, what we can bring more out, because we're going to do us, but we're doing it for you. We're doing it for you, to help you and to help other people and help those who are married, single, those who want to be married, those who are coming up to do life better and to do life together, you guys. All right? So we're going to take a quick break. And we're going to be right back after these messages. Peace.
The truth.
Today, people and business owners have a ton of options to choose from when it comes to web developers, graphic designers, social media marketing, branding, and the list goes on. And that might not be such a good thing. What if there was one company that you and your business could trust that could provide all these services at prices that won't eat up your business capital before it gets off the ground? From logo design, branding, custom website development, hosting, social media marketing, print media design, and more. Infusion does it all under one roof with a team of professionals that are just a phone call away. Infusion Design Solutions, the infusion of exceptional design and affordability. Visit us online at infusion.com.
It doesn't matter what they call you. What matters is what you answer to. Landisheray.
All right, you guys, and we're back with Living More with the Morgans. And we're talking about the pleasure principle, business in the bedroom. And before our break, honey, you were about to get into how those who are in ministry, who are in business,
Yes.
really need to understand how not to bring the outside into the inside. And I definitely want you to hit on that topic, but I want to preface it by saying this. Those particular people who are usually in ministry, what we fail to remember is that our first ministry is our home.
That's right.
Our first ministry
That's right.
is not everybody else's business. It's not everybody else's family and their homes and their lives. No. Your first order of business is your home, is your wife, your children, your household.
Yes.
That's the structure, that's the order.
That's right.
So if we're running out and we're trying to fix everything else and we're calling that ministry, and you're coming home bogged down, you ain't got time to talk to your spouse, you ain't got time to play with your kids, you so super busy and even so super spiritual that you can't sit down and enjoy a cartoon with your 5-year-old, you ain't doing ministry, player.
No.
You ain't doing ministry.
No.
You're doing some mess.
Yeah.
Because your first order of business is the priority, first of all, that you said you wanted.
Right.
You said you wanted this woman or this man
Right.
in marriage. You
Right.
said that you wanted children and a family. Y'all
Yes.
agreed upon that.
Yes.
And now that they're here, everybody else has become important other than what's priority back at home. All the conferences and seminars you want to preach at ain't as important.
Right.
Where you're delivering, hold on,
No, go
you're
ahead.
delivering hell out of other people, but you coming home to hell in your home. That's not God, and that's not what He wants for His people. That's not what and I have to say that because
No, go ahead. I want you to.
yeah, our households are deteriorating because we're majoring on the minor and minoring on the major.
And you know what that becomes? You make it a lack of respect,
Yeah.
okay, for your spouse. When someone else or other people come before your spouse, then that becomes a lack of respect. You're disrespecting your vows. You're disrespecting the person that you asked to be your wife, or or you said you would be the husband.
Right.
So that's what it boils down to. And then when there's no respect, okay, I just want to bring up something, and this is not just in ministry, but I wanted to bring up, I was reading a topic about Tom Brady and his wife, just to bring it up.
Right.
And she dropped clues, they both did. But one of the things that they dropped is that it was a lack of being present. She was raising the kids alone more than he was there, because why? His first love wasn't Giselle anymore. His first love became what?
Still the game.
The game.
Still football.
Football. So and just the same thing we talking about with ministry. It's the church, or it's this conference, or it's going on this crusade, or whatever it is. If there is no balance, the scale, okay, it shows you, when you put something on it, it'll show you what weighs more than the other, right?
Right.
And when you put something on that scale that outweighs the other one, well, guess what? That's going to take precedent over everything else on that scale. So we have to realize that when we put other things in ministry, in business, that becomes more of a priority than your marriage or your wife or your husband, then you already open up a door for your marriage to start having problems if you don't recognize it and if you don't stop it.
Babe, who's teaching us this?
I know who's teaching us this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But everybody ain't got what we got.
Everybody don't have what
and
we
everybody
have.
don't, and we know this,
Right.
everybody don't even want
No. Oh, no.
what we got.
No, that's too much.
Because here's the thing, you can have the teachers, you can have people who support, you can have people who give you what you need as far as people that are in your corner.
Right.
But we know people who have what we have. When I'm talking about spiritual fortitude,
Right.
spiritual parents,
Right.
pastors after God's heart. We have that in our lives
Right.
because we want that.
We want it.
We know people who had exactly what it is that we had, and we see failed marriages after failed marriages.
Right.
This isn't to point fingers,
No.
but it's the truth.
Right.
Is that you can be out in the middle of the Sahara Desert,
That's a great point. I know where you're going.
and there ain't no water in sight but this one well.
Right.
And you can die of starvation and die of thirst and dehydration in the middle of this desert.
Right.
And I'm dying. Am I going to be picky and choosy when there's only one well and I'm about to die of thirst out in the middle of the Sahara Desert?
Yeah, you will be if you have pride.
If you got pride,
Right.
you'll say, oh no, I can't drink from this well.
Right. That's not a choice.
That means you've made the choice
Right.
to die in that thing
Right.
rather than to get what you need from that thing. And we've seen it. We've seen people reject the help. We've seen people reject the support. We've seen people reject the advice that was given freely. That we had to make a decision as a married couple to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to reject the people that God had sent me the life raft, and he sent me the boat, and he sent me the piece of wood to save me from the flood. But you keep rejecting that and saying, no, I want to go out in style. I want the helicopter to come get me.
Right.
I want the private jet to come get me and swoop me out of the water. No, you're about to die. You're about to drown. And that's what people are doing. That's what's happening, is they're refuting the help that God is sending. And sometimes, and you may not even know it, that may be your last well that you get.
That may be your last. Yes.
That may be the last bit of help that God sends, because if he sends that and you reject it, then he can say, oh, I'm done. I'm not sending any more help. I've sent people who gave the encouraging word. I've sent the person on Facebook who was talking about this. I've sent the broadcast Living More with the Morgans, and they still didn't receive and hear the help. They didn't want to drink from that well.
Right. Right.
They want to drink from a diamond encrusted, gold plated well, and you about to die in the desert.
Right.
And so for us, I know that I can say as a man, as a young man, I knew that if I didn't latch onto the help, I was going to lose.
But you have to admit, though, you refused it at the initial beginning of it. When we were going through those, you were like, no,
No.
Well, what I'm saying is, when you were talking about the boat, the train, and all that, the people that were there, that you were like, well, I don't know about that person, and they didn't have what you were gravitating towards.
Well,
no,
I can't.
You don't think so?
No, I can't fully agree with that, because it wasn't that I refused those people.
Right. Okay.
I knew I had to be discerning over who was going to help us, because if you remember, I had went to people that we thought could help us.
Right.
We went to people in the church.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And we went to folks and we paid them folks.
Right.
We even paid people to counsel us that we did not get the help that we need through those channels.
Yeah,
and
not
so,
those people.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
of
course, afterwards, I'm a bit reluctant to say,
yeah,
I don't know about all this.
Go.
So I didn't come off the gate just like, nah, I don't want nobody's help. I'm good. No, we sought out the help, and I sought out the help individually and collectively. But when I wasn't getting what I felt was going to be that thing that could help us, and then later on we found that it was not the thing that was going to help us.
Yeah,
of course, I was a bit reluctant and hesitant to say, I'm going to be more careful about who we put our souls into someone's hands that can deal with this.
Yeah.
And so for us, though, God had to send those people. He had to send the right people, because he knew I had trust issues from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to just submit and admit all of my heart to people that were not, didn't have our best interests at hand.
Right. Yeah.
So I would tell people that you have to find and seek out people.
Right.
And pray. Now that's the part you do have to pray, is God, send the right people, send people who have your heart and good intentions, and who are not going to spread my business and all this stuff and be talking behind our backs and all this stuff.
Right.
You got to have some wisdom when you go look for help.
Right. That's right.
And so what I say as a young man that needed help, that I would tell other men my age, younger, or even older, for so long we've tried to even do marriage by ourselves. And we don't get a manual on this.
No.
Everybody,
No, honey.
they get married for 2 years, and now all of a sudden they're an expert on marriage. I've been married 2 years, and now they're doing book tours together. And then you look up, and 5 years later they're divorced.
Right.
What is that? And then we talking, 2 years they were into it. Oh, we talking about, that's marriage goals. # marriage goals. I want what they got. They look so blessed. They look so this and this and this. You haven't let time develop them.
Right. And stop looking on the outward
And stop
appearance of something.
say that, please. Stop looking on the outside of people's marriages or relationships and saying, "Oh, I want what they got." First of all, everybody ain't
Everybody
on
on
the up and up.
Facebook
Right.
look good on Facebook.
Everybody on
taking
Facebook. Yeah,
pictures.
everybody's filtered on Facebook
Right.
and Instagram. You put out your good stuff on Instagram and Facebook. You ain't putting out when you got crust in your side of your mouth and eye boogers and snot hanging out your nose
Right.
and your breath stink. You ain't putting that on Facebook and Instagram.
Don't do it either.
Right. you putting out all your filtered good stuff on Facebook.
Right.
And so a lot of times we're portraying this perfect, I got this perfect marriage
Yes.
and the perfect kids and we all smiling. And then we hashtagging marriage goals and kingdom couple and power couple and all this stuff. And you don't understand what it takes behind the scenes to get that power.
Yeah.
Power couple is not, because we got money. I'm a boss and she's a boss. That's not a
Right.
power couple. A power couple understands the influence that they have.
Excellent. That's absolutely the
You dig
truth.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
A power couple understands the responsibility that they have
Responsibility.
to help other people and to help other marriages and to help
Yes.
other young people and
Yes.
other singles or whomever. They understand the responsibility to pull people up.
Right.
That's what makes a power couple a power
That's
couple.
good.
Not, because they a boss and they own 5 different companies and they driving Bentleys and da-da-da. That's not power couple,
That's
family.
not power couple.
That's
No.
not power.
No.
We got it twisted in our culture and in our society.
Right.
Power is being able to say, you know what, I can bless you, I can help you with what
Yes.
I've gone through.
Yes.
I can give you experiences, I can give you teaching, I can give you knowledge, I can give you wisdom with what I've experienced and gone through, so you don't
Absolutely.
have to fall into the same pitfalls that I
Right.
fell in.
Right. That's right.
I can tell you, hey, 50 feet from here, there's a hole.
Right.
Watch out for it.
Right.
Make this detour
Right.
when you come up on it.
Right.
I can give you that wisdom.
Right.
That's power.
Right.
And so what we're looking to do through this kind of broadcast is share with you what real power is.
Right.
We need it every day. We need to work on us all the time.
Yeah.
We don't have, and we say it every broadcast, we ain't got it figured out, but we're willing to figure it out.
That's
We're willing to
right.
work on it.
willing.
We're willing to work. We're willing to say, you know what, babe, my screws ain't tight on this one.
Right.
And then we come together and we communicate that with one another. And I know, me being a younger man, her being an older woman, we definitely had to do that. We come from 2 different generations. I'm a city boy. She's a country girl.
Right.
So there were so many opposites, if you will. There were so many alternatives to us that only God could put it together.
That's
But
right.
in God putting it together, we had to say yes to it.
Right.
We had to say yes to what He was putting together and say, okay, you know what? We're willing to work this thing out.
Right.
Right? If you're gonna buy me the Lego set because you know I love Legos, the parent is not gonna sit there and force you to build the Lego set. You got to figure it out as the person who loves the Legos. You said you wanted them. So sit there, look at a model picture, and build.
Right.
And build. And you don't quit building when it doesn't come out looking like the box or looking like the picture. You keep building it until it looks like the model picture that you see and that you want it to be.
That's right.
And when we do that, we can really and truly
Live more.
start living more.
That's absolutely the truth.
What you think about that, honey?
Absolutely excellent. We have to be willing, like you said, to be able to look at ourselves, our flaws, all the things that will keep us from having the relationship with one another that we deserve to have. But it takes work. It takes you willingly wanting to go into it with a mindset of, this has to work. Right. There's no divorce. There's no, I'm going to back out of this. No, there's none of that. If you truly want what God has given you, truly,
Right.
He gave it to you. Now, he didn't say, I'm going to put it all together. It's going to fit just like this, just like you said with the puzzle. You have to get there, and you have to start putting the pieces together that fit.
Right.
And you have to be willing to keep at it until you get that ideal look of that puzzle together. It's not going to just come, but you both have to be willing to. It can't be, she got a problem, we're going to go see counseling. No.
Right.
Or he got a problem, we're going to go see. No, you guys have a problem.
Right. And you better figure it out together.
And figure it out together. I'm going to say this, okay, after being married before, and you guys know this, I've spoken this before to those who know me, and being married before. My idea was never to get remarried. Absolutely not. My idea was to have that marriage and continue to try to make that marriage work and to grow. But it takes both people to do that. Mm-hmm. And when a person is not willing to do that, then you have to realize, after all the years of trying, then you have to realize there's another way. There's an alternative, because you've done the best you could.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that marriage can be fun.
Oh,
you can enjoy one another.
Yes.
You can be friends. Learn how to be friends. Learn how to talk. Me and my husband were, the other day, it really brought me so much joy. We were laughing about something. I don't remember what it was. It was something, and you said something. We both laughed so hard, and we looked at each other and just laughed. And we don't understand. God wants us to have that.
Right.
He wants us to have the joy, the peace, the love, the intimacy, the connection.
Right.
And at the end of the day, don't that feel good? Rather than arguing, I'm throwing a shoe at you, and you over there ducking, and we calling each other names.
I'll tell you this, and I'll be honest with you. I got tired of it always being work. Hard work.
Yeah.
I got tired. I had to get tired of it, literally, to say, no, it's got to be better than this.
Yes.
And when I found out that it can be, when I had people, the right people in our corner, spiritual people in our corner, telling us, showing us, yo, it can be better. It does get better than this.
Yes.
Then that got my hope up. That got my expectation up.
Right.
And something that we don't like to do today is we don't like to get our hopes up because we've been disappointed.
Yes.
Because we've been let down,
Right.
or because somebody's been divorced before, they've been through a bad string of relationships or marriages.
Or they've seen their parents.
Or they've seen their parents go
Yes.
through things.
Right.
We don't want to get our hopes up at that time.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. Once you lose your hope, you got nothing.
Right. Don't lose your hope in your marriage.
If you
please.
lose your hope, everything is gone.
Right.
You can't lose your hope in you. You can't lose your hope in marriage. You can't lose your hope in your spouse.
Right.
You can't lose your hope in what your kids are going to be and how they're going to turn out.
Right.
If you lose your hope, fam, you're done.
Yeah.
Don't lose your hope.
Yes.
And we're here to tell you that we couldn't afford to lose our hope. Why? Because our marriage is tied to so many people that we don't even know yet.
Right.
People that we've never met, and some people probably will never meet in this world. Our marriage is tied to them.
Right.
When we go out, people are always looking at us.
Yes.
Always looking at us. Always speaking. My wife is a social butterfly. And so when we go out and about, they are drawn to her. I chill in the cut and kind of discern, right? I'm analyzing like my pop used to do. But even then, I'm still showing the love of God, and we're showing the love of God to people, and we're just being genuine. And it ain't always talking about church and Jesus and scripture and Bible. It's not always that.
Right.
It can be like we did a couple weeks ago. We're just talking football with somebody, or we're talking about the game, or we're talking about business, or we're talking about all these different things that we understand that are going on. And people can gravitate towards that and say, you know what, I just need somebody who's genuine. I just need somebody who's real.
Right.
I just need somebody who will open up and just talk, not cram scriptures down my throat,
Right.
not condemn me for not going to church.
Right.
I ain't been to church in 5 years, and somebody, well, you need to get back into the house of the Lord. That's probably not what they need to hear right then and there.
You have to have discernment.
You have to have discernment, and you have to have wisdom on how
Right.
you're dealing with people with where they are.
And when you say I'm a social butterfly, I am. But one of the gifts that God gave me is discernment.
Right.
I give people an opportunity always to come up to me, or I go up to them and talk. Most of the time, it's something that it's an assignment. Of course, it is
Right.
that God has me on. That I, because I'm an extrovert. I'm not introverted. So to be able to go out and talk to people and stuff, because I say this to you all the time. This is what I say. If we think that we're gonna get to heaven, and you gonna be over here, and you gonna be introverted, or you gonna be over here in this segregated area,
no.
if you think that's going to happen,
No.
you're sadly mistaken.
Heaven's not gonna be like America.
No, it's
where
not.
you got the Republicans on this side,
Right.
and you got the Democrats on this side.
Absolutely.
That's not gonna be a heaven.
That's not going to be heaven.
Right.
So we, like you said earlier, we need one another.
We need one another.
We need each other. And that's why when I go out to talk to people, when I go out and I'm ending up in the grocery store, standing in a long line, and we're talking, and an older woman might come up and start talking, and she might have 2 things in her basket, and there might be 5 people in the line, and I'll tell her, get in front of me. Then we end up having a conversation,
Right.
and it'll be about something that she needed encouragement about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what it's about.
That's
you
what
guys.
it's about.
That's what living more is all about.
Right.
And so tonight, if we could just challenge you with this and leave you with this,
Yes.
that if you can just rewire and reprogram some things, some things you might have caught from your childhood that may not be the best for you now in adulthood,
That's good.
to where you learn that, hey, I've got a spouse now. It's not just me in the house anymore. I'm not a bachelor or a bachelorette anymore.
Right.
I've said yes to someone. I've committed to someone. I'm submitted to someone.
Right.
And I want to be with this person because I said yes. Nobody put a gun to my head at the altar and said, say yes to this person.
Right.
You did it willingly.
Right.
And if you did, be willing to make some compromise. Be willing to do some reprogramming and some rewiring in yourself. Learn to communicate better. Learn to communicate with one another.
Right.
And then when you do that, you can start experiencing the business in the bedroom. For real, for real. The business between you and the person God has put you with.
Yes.
That way you're not having to bring business into the bedroom. You dig what I'm saying?
That's right.
You guys can bring passion and intimacy and love and bliss into the bedroom.
Yes.
You can keep all that other junk up out of there.
Right.
And it doesn't have to taint your household.
That's right.
It doesn't have to taint how you talk to your spouse. It doesn't have any kind of negative effect on you, but you got to make a concerted effort. You got to make a cognizant effort to say, you know what, that's when it's going to stop at that door. When I get off of work at 5 o'clock and I'm in traffic for an hour and even somebody cut me off, I don't need to bring that home to my wife. Or somebody gave me the finger headed for on lunch break today. I don't need to bring that home to her because nobody gave her the finger when she came home.
Right.
So I don't need to bring that home.
Right.
Let me, before I come in the door or when I'm in the car or whatever, or if I'm in that Uber, let me woo-saw that off.
Yes.
So I can bring, so that there can be peace and paradise in our homes.
Yes.
These are the things we're not talking about in church, y'all. These are the elephants that we're sweeping under the rug and quoting scriptures on top of it ain't gonna fix it. Quoting Bible verses and posting Bible verses and watching a bunch of prophetic conferences and stuff on Facebook is not going to fix. God expects you to fix it. God gives us, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna log off. God gives us raw materials.
That's right.
He does not give a man a table. He gives him wood.
That's right.
He gives them plastic.
That's
he gives them the raw materials in the earth to make the plastic, to carve the wood in order to make the table. He gives them the idea and the vision of the table.
Right.
And then he provides the raw resources for that table.
That's right.
That's our job to create what it is
That's our job.
that we see and
That's
that we
right.
want to see.
That's right.
So you guys, the screen is going out and that's telling us it's time to go. So you guys, thank you so much for logging
Thank
in tonight,
you.
tuning in to Living More with the Morgans. We're going to be
Yes.
back next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central. And again, All this weekend, you guys, we want you to hit up our social media pages.
Yes,
We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Living More Morgans.
Yes.
We're on Instagram at Living More Morgans. We're on Twitter at Live More Morgans. And of course, we're on YouTube now, youtube.com/Living More Morgans. And again, we thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you.
you.
Babe, you want to say anything else before we we bounce and get up out of here?
What I want to say is, again, everything that doesn't belong in your marriage, in your home, leave it out. Leave it at the door. Come into a place of peace, refuge, love, and bliss.
Yes.
Make your home that together. Work through it together. Reach out to those who God has for you to reach out that can help you to make your marriage better.
Yes.
Reach out. Don't be ashamed of doing that, and live a life that God wants you to live.
Yes.
That's what we want. That's what we want for you.
Absolutely. Until next Tuesday, you guys, have a great week.
Have a great week.
Good night.
Good night.